All right, we are live. That's good. Okay, let's check out the market, the world, and some of the crazy stuff going on. Now, what we're going to check out, make sure everything's recording here. Oh, let me grab my microphone. That would help. Okay, here we go. Now you can hear me. All right. So, everybody, welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. Check this out, bitcoindailyview.com. Got more for you there. Actually, it's shamelessly outdated, but anyway, that's the site where I keep some notes. I'll be invigorating that soon now that I'm back to daily trading. ISO 20022 crypto. What I'm looking at here is a list of coins that are ISO 20022 compliant and are on Coinbase that you can trade against just regular USD. Of course, you can also trade them against USDT and USDC, but I picked the ones that are tradable against USD because that's like the easiest coins that people are going to get into. These are the ones that will be on the other side of central bank digital currencies, more tokenized assets, etc., etc. So it does seem that like the current administration, especially when you look at some of the deals they're making in the Middle East, is really into crypto. So that, and you look at the who's at the White House quite often, what they're talking about, it does seem that digital currencies, along with the good and the bad that comes of that, are in vogue with the administration. So one way or the other, in the next couple of years, we're going to see movement along these lines. And all of these coins, XRP, Cardano, Quant, Stellar, H-Bar, or Hedera, they're all just really poised to make serious moves. So it's worth looking at them because they all pretty much are the same chart looking at the daily going back over time. These things ran up like November of 2024. They've been on a downtrend. Now they're making strong moves up. So let's check out what's going on. And let's look at some other supporting information. So looking at Coin360 today, definitely a absolutely crappy day in the crypto market. Nothing really dumped that big of a deal, but still definitely a red day in the market overall. So let's look at something I wanted to mention here is this is the NASDAQ. And so if we look here, this is a daily chart. These little smiley faces show gaps where we had a gap between candles on the open. So this is just going back a week or two. This really shows that what we need right now, or what the you can say the government, media, whatever you want to look at, is pushing, is definitely we need some smiley faces. We need some happiness, even if we're pumping the market so hard that we're creating these gaps, and these gaps will fill. So Thursday and Friday of this week, which are oftentimes the distribution phase of the week. So like Monday, Tuesday are the accumulation. Wednesday is the manipulation, and then Thursday and Friday can be the distribution quite often, or maybe just Friday, or it might come later than that. But one way or the other, watch for these gaps to fill. Eventually, we're going to see a turnaround in the market because it has been pushed too hard. It's created gaps, and they're going to fill. And when we do our little bit of a retracement from here, because we've been hyping the market really hardcore, we're going to see a beautiful little retracement to probably a reasonable level before we continue back up, or who knows what's going to happen. These are crazy times, but definitely NASDAQ is going to correct. With that said, let's look at the up here top is gold. This is a daily chart. As you can see, gold has been cruising up very, very nicely. It is above the 200 moving, above the 75 moving average in white, and then in blue, that is the 200 moving average. So it's been cruising up quite well, doing good. It's a beautiful, nice uptrend. Here you can see a bit of an M pattern. M patterns tend to be somewhat bullish, so it would not surprise me if we see gold make a move higher and not even get below the 75 moving average, or the 200, which is right below it. Now, looking at US dollar strength, okay, the US dollar strength has been going down since about January 2025. Going down, we're beginning to see a rounded bottom here on the middle chart here. That is the dollar strength index. So that corresponds with Bitcoin kind of taking a little bit of a rounded, almost more of an M pattern, which is somewhat bullish, but it's beginning to downtrend a little bit, and dollar strength index is beginning to go up a little bit. That makes total sense. But I would say Bitcoin still is in a very bullish posture. Oh, you know what? I messed up. Sorry about that. No, I didn't. No, top is gold. Okay, top is gold. Sorry about that. If I said that was Bitcoin, sorry. Top is gold, making a nice M pattern, probably bullish, going to continue up. Dollar Strength Index is rounding the bottom there and probably going to continue up most likely, although we want a weaker dollar is the idea. We'll see. Looking at Bitcoin right now, we're above the 75 moving average here on the daily chart. We're moving up. So really, Bitcoin is following the dollar up on the daily chart, which is usually kind of unusual. Gold is pumping it all, looking good while the DXY is moving up, but it's got an M pattern, a bullish pattern. Everything is weird. Reality is just broken. Things don't seem to really be working the way they should. Everything's a little bit out of kilter. But anyway, it is what it is. So this is a daily chart. This is Bitcoin. Now, what I wanted to show here is, let's see if I can pull some more time in here. It's probably about all the time I can get without blowing this computer up. But let's see. Yeah, so if we look right now, we are in a nice upwards move. It's all about really, this is a daily chart, so we're going way back to 2021 here. What I wanted to do was grab those lows that we had when we were down about 3,000 real quick. Yeah, right about there. Yeah, there we go. And do a huge Fibonacci sequence right here and just look at where we're at, or in like a larger Fib sequence. Yeah, we're way up here extended. Anyway, so we are, this is a beautiful thing. I mean, we're pushing quite hard. Let me actually dial this in a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. But if we do look at Bitcoin right now on the daily chart, I mean, we are flirting with previous highs. We had a high, we had a higher high, and now are we going to make a higher? Not hard to tell. This is a lot of push. And so a retrace to me is kind of expected. I mean, you just can't keep moving up that hardcore. But in general, looking at the chart, I think we're about, looking at these indicators, I think we're about as extended as we really can be for the moment. So hang in there. I do think that we're probably going to see maybe some sideways consolidation or accumulation, you might call it, for a while, then a move up or move down. I know it's kind of obvious, but anyway, Bitcoin pushing up really hardcore. It's not so far breaking highs from the past, so ultimately it's a lower high. And we did actually have, if we go back here on the daily, we had a lower low, but we are beginning to, as we drill in, you start to see this will be a low, a lower high, a lower high, I'm sorry, a low, a higher low, a higher low. So we'll see what happens. Here you could say this is a high, and this could be a higher high as well. So, but, big picture, we're not quite pushing up equal to the velocity that we've had in the past. So let me actually grab, yeah, this is good enough. So, I mean, I could drill down a little bit more. Don't want this to actually take too long. I'm going to start getting to these things really fast in the next couple of days. I just think this is really worth watching if you are a trader and you have any interest in crypto whatsoever. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart. Bitcoin's about the 200 moving average, and the 200 moving average is white, and the 314 is green. Looking at the indicators, we are definitely cooling off. So I'm kind of thinking that we could see, and I know it might be a little bit startling to some people who they may not want to really deal with it or hear it. But if I do a Fib sequence right here, it would not surprise me. Like the 382 is right there on the 200 moving average. The .5 is right there on the 314. 618 golden pocket right down in here definitely has previous volume and sideways accumulation action. So really, I could see a move down to 93,000 or even 89,000 or even 86,000. I know it sounds crazy. Maybe we won't even go any lower than this previous accumulation point here, where we had a lot of it was nice and sticky. It really fits with the Fib. The 236 Fib here is 95,000. So anyway, I do think we're probably going to see a retrace. It looks like we're kind of losing a little bit of steam. I will start including in this when I do this. I'll look at the actual volume for the day after market is closed, even though this is Forex is 24/7. Good measurements after market closes in the U.S. what kind of volume do we have? If we have increasing volume, that's going to tell us a lot. If we have, declining volume, that's going to tell us a lot. So I will start including that. In fact, maybe I might even, can I do it right now? Do I have that indicator? If I have it, I will look at it right now. Do I have it? No. I will see. I don't want to hold you up. Indicators chart. Sorry, I don't. Yeah, I don't have it saved here. Total liquidations. Sorry guys, I don't want to hold you up, so I will wait until later before I actually. I think it's Crypto Meter that I look at for that. It's to see if it comes up. Yeah, today's volume so far is 6.2 billion. It's down 18% last 24 hours. So definitely see we're chilling out on the volume. So expect maybe a retrace. I would kind of say this weekend could be a little weak for Bitcoin. So with that said, let's look at the rest. XRP. It's coming up here. This is one that I'm definitely watching here. This is a 4-hour chart. We're above the 200 and the 314. Indicators are nice, but it looks like it's about time to probably start rolling over. And looking at XRP, level that I was watching was right there at about 2.5. We definitely passed it. We're finding a little bit of a support above it. But anyway, let's look at a daily chart. And the daily chart is kind of they almost all look exactly the same on all these. Around November 2024, we had a run up. We've been kind of sideways ever since we hit the top of that, and now we are. The thing is, look at the 200 moving average. It was always moving up. We've bounced off it twice, and we do have here, looking at the daily chart, we definitely have the MACD is in the right spot to make a move as MACD's crossing the signal. Squeeze indicator is looking amazing. Directional index is looking good. A little bit of a lack of volume. I can see a little bit more volume, but one or the other. Look, we'll go through all these real quick. There aren't that many. This pattern is just as repeated for all of them, give or take a little bit. What I like about XRP right now on the daily is it is above the 200 moving average. It's nice and powerful. I could actually even fib this and see where we're at. Let's just go here, do a fib sequence. Where are we actually making that bounce? Yeah, we kind of made a 200 moving average bounce here, which you can see, but it corresponds to the 0.5 fib level. Got over the 382, found support there, and now it's a matter of will we continue? We are looking at me remove one drawing. Let's look at this a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit here and just note that where we're at right now, we are really looking at there's a lot of previous support and which is going to support and resistance. This is like an area of interest, as I would call it, and so it's a good chance we need to break above it or go below it. If I go to like very low time frames here, like a 45-minute chart, looking for what is the direction right now. Let's look at some indicators. It pumped, it gave a little bit back. We're right here in this area of interest. I could analyze this a little bit more, but really ultimately it's all about, are we going to get above these recent highs that we made and see a nice continuation? Anyway, overall, I'm going to layer into these things gently. I like XRP. And so this is definitely one that I think will probably make nice moves. These are kind of, these are very low risk swing trades for me. I'm not playing with a lot of money on these, but basically, look at that beautiful upwards channel. And where are we here on the 45-minute chart? Right there on the bottom of the channel. So we could definitely move up. This could be, I'm kind of excited. The squeeze indicator is looking good right there. Trade at your own risk, but I think XRP, we could see a little retracement before we continue up, but I don't know. The different candle lengths show me, different things. So let's just see what happens. Overall, I think that if the big market goes down, DXY gets weak, gold gets weak, etc. Depending on what the news is and such, we're definitely going to see these Bitcoin and the alts like these, the ISO 20. 022s probably take a hit too. All about your tolerance for risk and all, but I think overall these definitely are going to play a big game in the near future even. So I'm definitely watching these. I'm definitely excited about this. Definitely you can see over here most of these had a red day today. So a little bit of market weakness. I'm kind of curious. I myself don't want to layer in too much until really we see a bit of a stronger Bitcoin chart, and maybe Bitcoin needs to retrace first, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm kind of going to wait. I mean, probably we'll see a nice, beautiful uptrend right here, bounce at the bottom of this channel. But I'm kind of going to give it the rest of this week and maybe the weekend. I want to really see that we have an upwards direction. I'll get in a little late, but I'm not about making all the gains. I just want to make some of the gains. You know what I mean? So XLM. Stellar lumens. This is a 45-minute chart. You can tell it's definitely had a little bit of a run up. It definitely is now challenged on the 200 moving average. It looks like the indicators are beginning to turn up. It gave a little bit back. It might be a nice little on short term. For short term, this might be a very nice bounce for Stellar. I would just honestly watch and make sure that we get a nice bounce off this 200 moving average. That we will zoom this way. Once I see that, I'll be happy, especially if we break this this high here. And of course, this one's a challenge as well. But if I see a nice bounce off the 200 moving average here on the 45-minute chart, and I see the indicators moving up, I will definitely be happy. That will be intriguing to me for sure. Looking at the 4-hour chart, See, 4-hour chart's cooling off. 45 is kind of showing some. It might be time to move. But the nice thing is the 4-hour chart is healthy. It's above the 200 and the 314. I like what I'm seeing. So in general, I think that we're probably going to see for XLM, just I'm waiting for a little bit better entry on a lot of this stuff. But these charts really are beautiful. It all depends on how you're trading, how you're making stuff happen. If these are of interest to you. Let's see. Let me get my little pointer back here. One thing I am seeing is a W pattern right here. W's don't mean win. They usually are somewhat bearish. So we could see a move. Also, on the daily chart here, we're between the 200 and the 314. That's always a bit of a weak spot. So for me, really to be certain about XLM, I'm thinking I want to see that nice bounce down to the 314, then a break above the 200, or I want to break above the 200, come down, test it, and then continue moving up. I definitely think there's a lot of potential. We have quite a ways to go before we start getting to areas that would be possible resistance. So really, XLM, beautiful. But like most of these, I'm kind of a little bit hesitant. I'm just watching them. That's why I'm kind of doing these videos. So I make the point of keeping my eye on these. I do think these are just going to be some easy swing trades when they start moving. And I mean, a person who was brave might be layering into them even now. All depends on your faith in different things. ADA versus USD. So ADA Cardano. What I like about this one here is, like so many daily charts, what do we see? Pretty much the exact same pattern for all of these. Back in November 2024, we had to move up. We've been going not just sideways, but down, right? But what do we see right now recently? We are seeing a bit of a W pattern, which is kind of worrisome, but that's all right. We could also say it was, kind of, it's going to be an M anyway. We were between the 200 and the 314 for a while. We've broken above the 200. And I would say that we've closed some candle bodies above it. So actually the 200 is a beautiful spot to be. I like what I'm seeing. Let's look at our indicators. Oh, they're in the right spot. They're turning up. MACD is a little bit indecisive. Its tangent is beginning to go sideways and down. But ultimately, this is kind of exciting. Once again, I'm a little bit hesitant to get on in right now any of these. Kind of waiting for a little bit of volatility one way or the other. I'll either get in a little bit late or get in at a really good spot. But I'm just thinking, I'm going to be watching these the rest of the week and over the weekend. I think that the sweet spot for the entries, like I say, is coming up soon. I'm not sure if it's quite today, but this is a beautiful, beautiful setup. I like what I'm seeing. And if it does, you could just say, well, what if it just, like what's your, risk reward, etc. Well, if I look at my forecast here, and if we did get a move off the 200 moving average, and you kind of caught it, let's say you got some of that, that's 40%. Look at that last, that wick back here that we went to, that's 60%. I mean, you've got an easy, even if you were to, think it was turning around here, if that's where it found support, or I should say resistance, that's like 20%. So this is beautiful. And then if you're, doing kind of a long, a real long, I would watch to see if these locations, failed, if they really were resistance and they got rejected, then I'd, be out. But would not surprise me if this starts running that it is just a rocket ship to Pluto. I know this is speculation. I'll just say it out loud. Some of this is speculation, it's in reaction to basically, I would just say, world events and a move towards digital currencies by the U.S. administration. Even if you haven't heard a lot of news about that, it's definitely a direction that they're moving in. Doesn't matter if you like them, don't like them. It's a direction that they're moving in. The administration's family, definitely all the sons and such, they definitely have big positions in crypto. It's just one of these. Let me say that allegedly they do, right? That's a little bit safer. But I'll start actually including, when we start these, like some historic articles that I'll just bounce over real quick and say, and I'll put them in the show notes, the description, so you can see them. And I'll mention new things that I see, because I know I'm saying that the administration is definitely into digital currencies, and it's going to be a push along with possibly the central bank digital currencies. But of course, that could also fall in the realm of Tether in some ways. So just saying, I'll start backing up what I'm saying, because I think it's important so that you get why I'm so interested in these. So once again, November 2024, it moved up. This is Hedera H-bar moving down. Of course, now we're starting to see some lower highs. I should say higher lows. If we zoom in, we got a higher, you got a low, got a higher low, got a higher low. Of course, you have a high, higher high, higher high, higher high, broke above the 200 moving average. We got some beautiful candle bodies closing above there. Sorry about that. And this is looking good. It's a daily chart. These indicators are just beginning to turn up. I love what I'm seeing. You look at a 4-hour chart, and above the 200 moving average, looking good. I would say right now, definitely for this guy, we are in what I would call an accumulation phase here. We'll probably break high, break low, and then go the opposite direction. So anyway, but we're starting here on the 4-hour to cool off a little bit. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a return to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. Now, how about immediate price action? How about 45 minutes on this one? What do we see? Oh, yeah, there you go. 45 minutes, quite interesting. So 45 minutes, we were running up beautiful. We have this beautiful upwards channel. I love what I'm seeing. I like that. Looks good. We broke below it. We could not hold the 200 moving average on the 45. Hit the 314. Found support there. We're between the 200 and the 314 on the 45-minute chart. That's a little bit too risky for me. That's why I would say I'm kind of waiting for a little bit of confirmation from God, whatever, I don't know, when it comes to how these things are doing. But I think we'll eventually see a move up and then test that 200, move up, and it wouldn't surprise me if it actually found its way back to this upwards channel, or even, just went right by it. You could see a situation like this where it finds its way back to the channel, and then sorry about this. This mouse is kind of flaking. If it kind of went up through the channel, messed around for a second, went there, and then this became the new support on top of that channel. H-bar, when it starts running, it's just a psycho of a coin. It's a mover. Now, quant on the daily. Actually, quant on the 45-second chart. Let's go to, was I looking at that on the 45-second chart? Sorry about that. I thought it was 45 minutes. Did I do that? Let me see here. Let me go back to H-bar. Was I looking at a 45-second chart? Oh, that's silly. I'm sorry, everybody. 45-second chart. Well, I just described it. Anyway, let's look at a 45-minute chart. Sorry about that. I need to start doing these, I'm doing this after the trading day ended, so I'm a little bit beat. Definitely here on the 45-minute chart, you can see we've got we're working some support here. That's kind of a nice thing. As the support level, we're probably going to bounce off it. Look at that. There's the 200 moving average on the 45. Definitely we'll probably see a bounce. The indicators have given a lot back. They're beginning to move. So actually, even short time frame, I like what I'm seeing. Definitely watch out for this, though. This is why a little bit of this, I'm very positive, but why I kind of have this feeling we might see a retrace before we continue up. This is a big ass W. And what do W's tend to do? They tend to fail. They're very, very bullish. I mean, bearish. So anyway, watch out for that happening. So there you go. Looking at this on a 4-hour chart, H bar, you know, there you go. We're above the 200 moving average and the 314. We're looking good. We are kind of, let me actually, it kind of shows you what can happen. Go back down to that 200 on the 4-hour chart. Definitely could see that. But if you ask me, looking at the 4-hour chart, we might very, very well be just in a great big, accumulation, consolidation. Let's see what happens when we get a break out of there. Right now, the indicators on the 4-hour chart are chilling out. And I think we already looked at the daily, of course, but on the daily chart, that consolidation that we're seeing where we're losing a little bit of steam is actually happening right there within these daily candles. So it doesn't make sense. Anyway, sorry, guys. Forget I even said that. We're consolidating here sideways on the daily chart, on the 200 moving average. Let's watch for a move. The indicators look like they might be kind of in the mood for a rollover, maybe. We'll just see. We have a beautiful candles by Sam, purple candles there. We do have for your, ICT crowd, an incredibly small little fair value gap there. Wouldn't surprise you if we came down and tested that before moving up. Anyway, like I say, we're just seeing a lot of it's ready to go, it's ready to explode, but it ain't quite there yet. So looking at this one here, looking at quant QNT, I'll just look at this part right here. We're already zoomed in on it. Look at that. You've been given, it's the same chart as everything else. November 2024 ran up. We've had a crazy downwards channel. But what do we got now? We got a low. We have a lower high. I'm sorry, a low, a higher low, higher low, higher low, and here we have a high, higher high, higher high, working on a higher high again, of course, or above the daily 200 moving average. I like it. Little candles by Sam here. You have a little fair value gap right down there, right around like $87, $88, $89 right in there. Little fair value gap, might visit that again, but we are basically in a consolidation phase here. It's just waiting to figure out what it wants to do. But the chart's in a powerful spot. Daily, I'm beginning to see a little bit of turn down on the indicators there. Looking at 4 hours. 4 hours, you can see it even more clearly. We are just accumulating. We're range bound. That's very typical. Don't be surprised if we see a move up and then a move down, or a move down and then a move up. Definitely these indicators on the 4-hour chart show that we are cooling off. On the 45-minute chart, sorry about that. I hope I wasn't showing you 45-second charts. That would have been sort of silly. Anyway, you can see this beautiful consolidation phase here, accumulation, as they call it. We're staying above the 200 moving average. That's really nice and powerful. We're in a big squeeze right here. The squeeze indicator shows you that. So definitely, quant is getting ready to do something. I think it's just waiting to see what the news is, what happens, et cetera, what the rest of the market does. Like I say, all these are just poised to explode, in my humble opinion. Looking at Algorand, okay? This is a 45-minute chart. We'll start backwards here. 45-minute chart. We've had a beautiful run up. We kind of are going sideways. You could actually just call this a great big consolidation accumulation phase right here. We've touched the 200 moving average in the 45-minute chart twice, and our indicators have given some back. Looks like they're getting ready to be poised to move up. So I think definitely it could be up time for Algo. Let's look real quickly at the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I like doing this backwards. It's more fun. Yeah. So anyway, looking at the 4-hour chart, it's beautiful. When we look at the daily, you'll see where this ran up in November, came down, but now we're seeing this nice uptrend that has been created. You can see it very, very, very clearly here. This is a pretty wide channel, but still it is a channel. It's right in the middle of it. It's right there at the heartbeat of the channel. I like what I'm seeing, you know. We're well above the 200 moving average. 200 moving average is crossed above the 314. That's really good. Indicators look a little bit weak, like it wants to give some back. It would not surprise me one bit if we actually visited the bottom of this channel before we moved up. And with that said, one last thing to look at here is the daily chart. Daily chart will show you pretty much what all the other charts show you. November, we ran up, we've been giving it back, and now we have an upwards channel going along. You know, it was a rocket ship to Pluto, and then it became a downwards channel, and now it's an upwards channel. And these daily indicators are nice and smooth. They look right to me. I like what I'm seeing. Like I say, these things are poised to just go pure Lambo mode, in my opinion. But it's going to be based partially on market action and news, etc. I mean, the world's a little bit crazy right now. But in the midst of all the craziness, I'm seeing something here, and these could be easy longs. So anyway, Coinbase. Link to it in the description. You can create a Coinbase account. You know, you put some money in it and you can buy some crypto. Not financial advice, of course. I'm just saying this actually might be a way for people to, you know, who have some idea of trading, or even, you know, I don't know. I mean, if I get some feedback on this, I'll keep doing it daily, and I'll make it quicker. I'll make it more to the point. It's something that I'm looking at every day anyway, so I could do this a little quicker. And with that said, there you go. That's all I got for you today on this. And like I say, if I get a little feedback like, hey, Craig, keep doing it, then I'll get this down to like 5 minutes. We'll just rock through these things, you know. A little bit of news, copper to gold ratio, the market's most overlooked warning signal. Quite interesting. What it means when copper outperforms gold, it usually signals economic optimism. Copper is tied to growth, construction, manufacturing, and technology. When it's strong, it suggests expansion. But when gold outperforms copper, markets are bracing for trouble. Investors start seeking safety instead of betting on growth. It's an early warning sign that something bigger might be brewing. We can see gold's been doing quite well, outperforming copper. That's really wild. And with that said, let's just see what happens. But this is an interesting economic indicator. To me, it says something to me. I like it. And there you go. Anyway, with all of that, check out my podcast, Radiant Creators. It's just radiantcreators.com. You can scroll down. Recently, I talked to David Dubine. That was really funny and fun. It was great. It was informative. Before then, Jeff Berwick, Dollar Vigilante, that was wild. Maybe one of my favorites here is, well, they're all my favorites, but for a real introduction into like the craziness of the podcast, Frank Jacob, A Glorious Timeline Beyond the Pendulum. We just chatted a couple weeks ago, and this was really, really fun, and we talk about some cool stuff that he's doing, and he'll be on again soon. So anyway, with that said, that's all I got. I'm gonna work on making this quicker, and well, talk to y'all later.